Hey guys, so today is the big Sunday, the big game, the big one. You can't even say the actual name or we'll get copyright striked. I,
Yes.
I can't wait for it to happen, you know. It's gonna happen. Gabe, what do you think?
Okay.
I mean, all I want to say is, man, I love Campbell's tomato soup.
Oh my god, I love bowling for soup so much, bro.
Bowling for soup sounds good.
in a bowl, man.
Jacob, what's your favoriteest part of Super Bowl Sunday?
Oh, other than the fact that it's the shiny bowl, you know,
Oh,
we're just
true.
shiny hunters are gonna be the one, you know, the super shiny bowl, you know, where instead of catching a football, we're gonna be catching some shinies.
That's right, baby.
That's what I'm talking about.
Wait, Super Bowl? I thought you guys said fit in a bowl.
Wait.
Okay, this bit was dumb.
I'm sorry.
We'll get it. They can't. Not all the cold ones can be great. Not all the cold ones can be great. Welcome everybody to the Boost View Podcast. My name is Pavlam.
Hi, I'm Gabe.
Hello, I'm Fuse.
And we have our lovely, lovely guest today with us.
I'm Jacob Pomegranate, I think.
You think?
Some days I am, other days I don't know much. I don't know too much.
No idea.
They could go anyway.
No idea.
Well,
I mean, you know, they
welcome
always
in.
joke about my height, right? I don't even know what my height is. I thought I was 6 foot. Now I'm apparently like lower than that, but you don't even know.
No, I'm
Now
only
he's-
4'6" someday.
Now he's just a dwarf. He's just a dwarf.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But yes, welcome on in, Jacob. Thank you for joining our lovely podcast. This is the Boost View Podcast. We like to talk about lots of Nintendo games in retrospect and also new. And today we are in the middle of our Pokemon series on Gen 7, Pokemon Sun and Moon, and Ultra Sun and Moon. And today we brought Jacob in because he seems to have a lot of expertise in Gen 7. He claims that he has played each game twice, I think. That's what you said in the Discord.
Yeah, I played them technically, because the thing about them is, again, with Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon, they're almost the same game. So I played both of them twice through, and then one for a Nuzlocke.
Oh, okay. I'm currently doing a Nuzlocke of one, and it's not going great. It is very hard. It is
on your
unfair
first
at times.
playthrough.
Yeah, on my first playthrough. We can get into that more later, though. So. Okay.
That's so
So, first question I always like to ask everybody, whenever we talk about the Pokemon games, is, or really any game in general, how did you acquire the game? How did you first play it? What was that experience like for you? Did you get any promos, all that jazz? And let's throw it off to our lovely guest for the first question. You go for it, Jacob.
Well, actually, with Gen 7, if some of you don't know, it actually had a demo out for it where you can get Ash Greninja.
Oh.
So basically, that was one of the best selling points of getting the game for me. Is like, oh, I can get a freaking Ninja Frog that transforms into a ultra powered Super Saiyan. So it was really dope to get that, and you can also transfer that Greninja into your Sun and Moon game to use on your playthrough as well. So that was basically how I started with it. So I was watching this Gen 6 anime, and then they were like, hey, get this Greninja. And I was like, all right, I love Pokemon, so all right.
What level was the Greninja on?
It was level like 30, like I think level like 30 something.
Oh, okay, nice.
So you got a free Greninja? That's a pretty good, like, in-game bonus, actually.
Yeah. Wait, is it one of the? Does it like not obey you until you have a couple badges, or is it considered like?
It's weird because in Sun and Moon it like can obey you, but there's times where it just won't obey you. But you have to. But it's not too far that you get into it where it can obey you.
Gotcha.
good.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot better in-game bonus than 30 Pokeballs and some berries that they offered was Scarlet and
man.
Violet.
Hey, Pokeballs are very hard to find in Scarlet and Violet. I mean, getting any items in that game, I think I only have like a couple in my
I'm broke.
satchel.
Yeah, exactly. What about you, Fuse?
I think these games actually got physically, which is like the change since I've always got digitally ever since the other generation. But I feel like the further we go back, the more I got physical because I think I was like graduating high school when this came out.
Yeah,
So,
it came out in
I was like,
2016.
I was like, bro, but I got them physically. I honestly, I think that was like the same time when they still like offered like posters and stuff. So I got a poster when I went to GameStop. I personally got UltraSun because I like the lion more than the vampire.
Moon thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is actually, it was either this one or X and Y was the first games to be available digitally. I don't know if X and Y was available digitally, but it might have been. I could be wrong. But it was the 3DS era of Pokemon games was like the first ones that was like, oh, you could get a physical versus digital. So eventually, as we go back to this game, physical versus digital is going to become an obsolete question.
Right.
So, but that's interesting, Fuse, that you got it that time. Yeah, and it's also crazy to think about that this game is that old, that it's been since we were in high school, and I'm sure there will be people listening to this podcast that are like, wait, what? Like it's been that long,
dude. In a couple of years, it'll be 10 years. That's crazy.
three or 4 years. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Gabe.
So I'm a fake Pokemon fan. Call me. I don't care, man. I never actually got the game. This is the very first generation I never actually played through.
Are you kidding me?
Louis, you come on over here.
I gave you all the resources to play it even just a little bit over the past week. Come on.
I know, but hey, man, I'm an adult. I got the adult life things to do. I talked to Quinn. You know, she gave me some insight what Team Skull is, the motive, and all that stuff.
Just
and
bring Quinn on. We don't. You don't need to be
I'm out of here, dude. The boosted fume, or like, come here, Quinn. I don't know, whatever. But my friend Jack actually has, I think he has UltraMoon, and then I want to say he has UltraMoon, and then he has the first edition. I think he has regular Moon as well. But he let me borrow it a couple times. I messed around like on my 3DS with it a bit. I didn't really get like far at all. I think I got maybe I got the water starter. It's like that seal or that whatever that thing. I don't even know. I don't remember. Yeah, Pop Leo.
Yeah.
Yep, the mistake. Yes, and
Oh man.
and
No, that is actually I'm not a fan of Poplio. Anyways, continue.
What's so impressive about an owl that could turn 360? All right.
Listen, I love that owl, man. I also love Big Cat. Big Cat's just such a meme.
Kitty. But yeah, so obviously I never did a physical or a digital edition. I mean, you could say physical just because my friend Jack gave me his, but blah 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 blah.
I don't even remember what things I got with my copy. I just know that I got a copy of Sun. I literally beat the first trial, and I didn't pick it back up. When I first played it, I was so like, I don't know what it was. I guess because I was just in high school and I was so like busy with because I know there was a period in high school where I didn't play a lot of video games. I just was so busy with extracurriculars and stuff that I just didn't like. I just was like, I don't care about this. This is taking forever, and so I just like didn't. That was where I had my falling out phase with Pokemon. That was Pokemon Sun was the final straw, the camel, because X and Y I had played through, but I was really bored with like very quickly, and then I played Sun and Moon, and it was just like I don't. But yeah, first impressions of the game. I guess you could hear my first impressions of it. So I'm actually replaying through it right now. Yeah, I'm replaying through it right now. UltraSun now, because that's what I said. Everyone says that UltraSun is the better versions, and like if you want to give it a better chance, you should play those versions. So picked one of those up. I've been playing through that as a Nuzlocke, which that's actually been fun, despite the picture that Fuse brought up a second ago. It's been really fun. I've enjoyed it a lot more than I enjoyed it the first time, for sure. It's definitely still a lot of button mashing, getting through text. It's a lot more than I would like, but it is still more enjoyable than I remember it the first time. So yeah, what about you, Fuse? What do you think? What was your first impressions?
Honestly, it's just I liked the environment. I think that like being like almost like a Hawaii kind of theme, and doing like the islands and changing it up from not having to like do like gyms. You go and collect all the crystals in order to basically beat the island challenges. The only thing that I could say is that I really just hate how long the game takes to get to the good part, which is like 2 hours. Which I think if I remember like someone like trying to speed run through it, it took them like still like over an hour to do so. Just because the text was so long and they had to go through like multiple different hurdles. You get your starter, you get like 2 encounters, and then you have to go through like another hour of gameplay basically before you can go and catch other Pokemon, get items and etc. So honestly, like at the start I hated it, but after you finally get done with that hurdle, I think it's a really fun game. I started actually enjoying myself afterwards.
No, I
Skyward Sword.
I know. As a Skyward Sword enjoyer myself, I get that sentiment.
I feel for you, okay? I can empathize, I promise.
Yeah.
Or
I never
sympathize.
played Skyward Sword.
More like bomb bowling. You missed out on the bomb bowling, bro.
I know.
That's the best
Come
part
on,
of the game.
That's the best part of the game.
That
We'll
just,
talk about that in a later episode. Gabe, what about you?
Hawaii, bro. Cowabunga. Give me that paradise,
played it,
man.
so I don't know why I'm asking
no.
you.
Listen. I know the setting. Okay, I know. Listen, I've said this before. I love tropical settings. God, that would be like the perfect, game for like a setting at least.
It's a shame
if I
you never
played
played
it.
it, man. It's the
I never
perfect game,
played it.
apparently.
It's 10 out of 10. Let's end the episode.
There it is. You got it.
Sorry, because like, no, it's the way the game went. Like, yo, I like tropical settings. God,
Jacob, as someone who knows the games, please save us from this conversation.
No, yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I actually kind of agree with Fuse a little bit about how, because the first island, we call it the trial island. Well, not the trial island. It's just like the tutorial island.
Yeah,
I should say.
yeah.
So it like takes like a long time to get through it, and then once you're done, it just kind of breezes past. But Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon are also known as like the big story games too, because even though Sword and Shield has like a big story, it's like Sun and Moon's was actually like good or decent, but it was very long, which made it hard to get through sometimes. But I like the Pokemon. I think there could have been more Pokemon introduced, but I like the ones that were. There were some really nice ones. But overall, I think it was like it was interesting, especially since when I played Ultra Sun and Moon, I actually had went to Hawaii before, so I like was like, oh, this is interesting on how like it is in the game and in real life too, which I really liked.
Yeah. That's really cool. Yeah, and that kind of leads us into the next question. So like we can talk about our starters that we picked, and also, or if like we like the starters at all, and then also favorite Pokemon / Pokemon we dislike in general. So yeah, you go ahead and I'll let you continue to extrapolate on that, Jacob.
Well, starters, I feel like my top two out of them are Rowlet and Litten. I chose Litten before I knew it like transformed into a wrestler. But I still like it. I still like it. And its shinies are awesome. The Rowlet line shiny is perfect, and then the Litten shiny looks like a Kit Kat. And then
Kit Kat.
it looks like a Kit Kat. It's like white and red.
Kit Kat.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's really, really cool. And Incineroar is also very, very scary in competitive VGC as well. So I like that as well. It's also in Smash Bros, as you guys might know. And with Rowlet, I think Rowlet has probably become my favorite as of recent, mostly because of what's it called? Mostly because of Decidueye, because Decidueye is just an archer and it's super, super sick. But unfortunately, I don't like its stats the way it is used in competitive VGC and stuff. But I like the design and everything.
Yeah.
It's like Tinkaton. It's like it's aesthetically and as a Pokemon itself, you're like, oh yeah, this shit rocks. But in competitive, it could never hold a chance.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. So for me, I agree with Jacob. I mean, you heard my stance on Puplio or whatever the hell that thing's called. And I love Big Cat just because, again, I'm a big Smash Brothers player, so I love how he's like a meme character in that game, and he can just wreck shop if he wants to, if you get good at him. And then Decadewey, old Decidueye, as a concept and as a Pokemon, and from the distance, it's really good. I love it. I'm like, oh, you get a flying grass type finally, but then no, I think it becomes a ghost grass by its final evolution. So
Yeah.
it's cool. It's neat. I fell in love with it a lot more when I played Arceus. Not the final stage, but just that line in general. In my current playthrough of it, when I'm doing the Nuzlocke, I actually picked up Litten. I was like, I need a Big Cat on my team. So I'm doing that. And some other cool Pokemon I've enjoyed. I don't know why, but the Alolan Meowth line, it's so derpy. It's
Has a really
I'm
big
trying to
face.
find it. I'm
it
looking
gets
at
a
it.
big puffy face. It's so cute. And there's like the meme of like the cat that's like breathes heavily. And, there's like a version of that with the Alola Meowth. It's great. Yeah, in this game, I think this is the first game they introduced regional forms. So for
Yeah.
people who don't know, they decided to take old Pokemon, a lot of older Pokemon, and give them just like a different version of them in this game. So the most famous examples were Executor basically got turned into this giant palm tree, and they're not like related. They're related to them, but they're not related to them in terms of the evolution line.
Yeah.
Why are you
Oh,
freaking
I
out,
love
Fuse?
Call it Executor.
Oh, what is it?
Executie.
Executor.
Executor. Excuse me.
Executor.
It's like whenever I'm in chat and I call Togetic Togetic just to spite some people.
Oh,
I literally said it. I literally said Togetic like growing up. That's what I thought it was. And somebody was like Togetic, and I'm like,
I've never heard that before. That's amazing. Some other famous examples were they added the Alolan Diglett line. They get like a beautiful
long hair.
flowing mane. Yeah, the hair is really fun. I think there's an Alolan Geodude, like the blue rock stuff.
Yeah. It has like
Yeah.
eyebrows.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of others as well. Those are pretty cool. I'm trying to think of another one that's like
Alolan Raichu is great.
Oh, true. He like surfing on his little tail. That's always a good one. So
I really like the variations of the Vulpix line and Sandshrew because
Oh, yeah,
Vulpix
that-
have a
is
fire
that where
becomes
the
ice. Yeah.
yeah.
And then Sandshrews also ice. He's actually ice steel, which I thought was like interesting
Oh, wow.
to see.
yeah. I didn't know he was Ice Instinct. I love Mimikyu. I think Mimikyu is adorable, and I've always loved it. And I want to catch a shiny Mimikyu someday, Mikayu, whatever it's called. Abominable, is that how you pronounce it?
Oh
Yes.
yeah, the big
The big
crab.
crab.
Stupid
boy.
looking. Look at that thing. And then Oricorio, you got the
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
the
this-
sand castle. That one's
Oh,
Sandgas,
Sandy,
or-
Sandy
Yeah,
Gast.
and I love it's shiny. It's shiny, so cool. It's
Oh,
like
yeah, it's
black
black
sand.
sand.
I'm like, ooh. Anyways, yeah, I always love that one. That's another one I just wanted to throw in there.
I don't know, man. Bruxish is pretty
Oh, yeah,
gorgeous.
I would kiss Bruxish.
Look at that. That thing is ugly. Ugh. I don't like this. I'm uncomfortable.
Okay, I'm gonna throw it back to Jacob again. You're talking about the story. I haven't finished the story. I'm getting there, but and the story so far seems interesting to me because it seems like there's these wormholes opening the sky. There's like this weird technology thing. There's these ultra beasts. I always hear that thrown around, and there's like the Z-Move crystals that contribute to that story a little bit. But like, kind of, feel free to spoil story for me, even though I'm not gonna be hard pressed about it. Tell us about the story. Finish that off, and then like, do you think the island challenge things? Do you think they were better or worse than if they were just like gym leaders?
First of all, I want to say spoiler alert for those of you who don't know this game.
Yeah, true.
Even though it's almost 10 years. but also,
Are you reading this?
it's really interesting. The story is really interesting because what's it called? Lily's mom, Lucamine, is like crazy. And actually, there's two different stories. UltraSun and regular Sun and Moon have different stories. And Sun and Moon is actually, in my opinion, a lot better than UltraSun's story because Sun and Moon has like consequences and stuff. Because in regular Sun and Moon, basically what happens is Lucamine basically goes batshit insane and basically fuses together with one of the Ultra Beasts at the end of the story.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing about that actually.
Yeah, she ends up fusing together with it.
Is that what the really skinny bug-looking lady thing
Yeah,
is?
the jellyfish. It's like
She fuses.
yeah, it's the skinny bug is actually a Pokemon, but she basically gets that jellyfish that you see, the like jellyfish looking one, and she like basically is like combined within inside of it at the end of the game.
Oh,
and yeah, and it basically after that she just like transforms into that, and then it's like this whole big like arc for Lily. And then after that, like, Lily basically moves away, and it's like a sad ending where they're like, oh, you have to say goodbye to your friends, and blah, 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 blah. And then in UltraSun and UltraMoon, it's more of, dimensions and everything. It's like a bigger scale type of thing, and that's when you have to fight Ultra Necrozma. And Ultra Necrozma is one of the hardest fights in Pokemon ever. I hated that boss fight. It was like the first, like it caught me off guard like really badly because I remember I went in with it and it was like the first time I lost like actually legitimately in like a long time, and I was like, oh, that's not
So
good.
for someone nuzlocking the game, I definitely have to prepare for that.
Yeah, you have to prepare. for that.
Okay.
Like stat totals like over 800.
Yeah,
Good lord.
yeah, and it boosted stats too.
Oh.
So something I've found like about the story, at least of the gym challenges, I think it's some of the gym challenges are really unfair. Like,
Oh, they are.
Yeah, like, and I don't know. I don't know if I like it or not. I'm trying to decide if it's just like like because there's being unfair in the sense of like Dark Souls where it's like fun, but then there's being unfair at the point where you're getting so mad at it that it's like not. I don't know. So some fights that I've done, it's been like you have this big Pokemon that has boosted stats. It has a status condition that also boosted stats, and then it's also like not over leveled, but it has like it's just like basically it might as well be like 5 levels ahead of you. And then on top of that, it has the ability to call in other Pokemon to make it a 2v1. And it's like, what the fuck?
Why?
Yeah, that's how all the gym challenges go. Is like there's like one big main Pokemon with boosted stat. It's basically like you're fighting an alpha or like one of the Titan Pokemon. But then the Titan Pokemon can call in other Pokemon to fight you at the same time. And yeah, it's been a whole.
You know what I call that? I call that mother brain syndrome, because the very first boss I ever remember when I was a kid was, like did that thing where it calls in a bunch of all the little minions is mother brain. You have the donuts coming down from the ceiling, and then you got the lasers, and then the mother brain's like lasering, and I'm like, dude, I want to fight you. I don't want to fight your stupid little minions I can kill in 2 seconds, because I can't kill them in 2 seconds. But
Multitasking.
Very. Which is, once you're done with it, I can see why it's rewarding, and why it's strategy for sure. But it was always a little bit of a pet peeve when it feels a little artificially more difficult.
Yeah, I think that's what rubs me the wrong way with it is it's like this artificial difficulty that's been like injected into it versus where like with gym leaders it usually is like at least feels like a fair fight. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I like
what we call that?
Shake it up, so.
We call that be better.
He's better. True. We gotta work on it,
What does the B stand for?
Oh,
Okay, I'm sorry.
There's a bee.
Kill it.
Jacob, what do you think of the
right here?
different? Oh my god.
the gym challenges and the trials. I definitely prefer gyms because I feel like there's this. It's weird. Like even though the trials are built to be more rewarding because you have to fight so many things, it can get really tasking after a while, and I feel like the player can almost get bored of it. So it kind of elongates it more than it needs to. So that's why I'm glad that we have regular gyms back, because I feel like literally all they needed to do was basically combine trials and gyms together, because the trials could be hard at times. But when you have to actually face the kahunas, they're not that difficult. So you could combine them together, and I feel like that would make it a lot better instead of just having to go around the whole place fighting all the time.
Yeah. No, I thought, because when I played it, I thought the structure was going to be like a gym challenge, and then I had to fight someone, which it kind of is, but there's like a kahuna per island. It's not per challenge. And so in my opinion, it makes the gym, or it makes the challenge guardians or whatever really forgettable. The only one I remember is Lima on the very first island, because she like actually fights you at the beginning, and also because the trauma that I had to do with that, but with the Smeargle. But the other like gym challenges. Yeah, why does the Smeargle have water gun?
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that fight. It was really hard.
Yeah, but the other challenges, they don't fight you. They just say like, "Oh, hey, go do the thing. Go have fun." Yeah. The point at which I'm at in the story, they just started. Because I'm in UltraSun, and they just started talking about like the wormholes and stuff, and the sky pussy is opened up. So yeah, I'll censor that. Don't worry.
Oh, there you go.
So yeah, that's as far as I've got in the story. I don't know. Do we have any other opinions about the story from Gabe or Fuse?
I heard. Oh, sorry. I mean, you know more than me. Dad.
It's fine.
Long Dad.
Yeah, totally. Honestly, I feel like that some of the trials themselves were either like had that adverse difficulty, or there's some that was like kind of almost basically simple. I feel like I had a pretty easy time with the grass and the fire one, because the fire one was just like noticing the difference in pictures, which wasn't too hard. Like one of the pictures, for instance, like the most noticeable one is that randomly you're supposed to tell the difference between two pictures of what the Alolan Marowaks, which by the way is like my favorite one of the Alolan ones, are dancing, and you have to tell how they're dancing. But then one of the pictures just like a hiker man like photo bombs the picture, so clearly that's the one we need to worry about.
Yeah.
We got big old man right there. Just
Put him on the map. But honestly, I feel like that they've almost tried to combine trials and gym leaders in Scarlet and Violet, which I know we're not talking about Scarlet and Violet, because you do the trial, you fight the gym leader. I feel like that they like to scale it down in Scarlet and Violet. I think in the Sun and Moon stuff they made it a little bit more harder. But I definitely feel more enticed to do the gym battles than I was doing the trials, because there's 8+ so trials or something around those lines, because there's like a Z crystal for every single type, so you have to like do a bunch of extra ones as well, and after that it just gets a little bit tedious. I think they kind of made it better once they like let certain Pokemon have like their own specific Z crystal, which is kind of cool in a sense. But like, yeah, for me it was like the Z moves and like the crystals were like almost completely forgettable for me after a while, because some of the battles are so easy you don't even have to use them. Like they'll use them and we'll take it like a champion, but then I just smack him in the head with another attack anyway, he's dead.
Yep.
It's smack him out.
Yeah. That
I always. Oh, sorry.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
But what was I saying? No, it's kind of if it ain't broke. I mean, cool. Like try new things for sure, always. But they seem to do this all the time. They do it once and then they just forget about it. I guess that's kind of more my Z move opinion. But I feel like it's kind of refined for sure in Scarlet and Violet. You know how you have the trial still, but then of course you fight the gym leader. But I always thought the gyms, in the games, I never got sick of fighting in gyms. I was, all the way up until Gen 6. I was still having fun with gyms, and in Sword and Shield, I had fun with gyms, and Scarlet I had fun with gyms. But I mean, I'm sure I would have a fun first time trying the trials and just seeing what they were like. But if, like I said, if it ain't broke, but it's cool that they tried something new, that wasn't just like Mega Pokemon or Z moves or whatever it might be,
Yeah. So I guess that leads us into the next question. We'll kind of skip around here. The Z moves in general, I still don't quite understand how the fuck they work.
Are they just like stronger moves? Is that what it is?
No, you do the dance, make a little love, get down tonight, boom, you're dead.
Raise the roof.
Raise the roof.
Item to the Pokemon, and then I can use Z moves.
Yes.
Is that how it works? Okay.
You make it the Pokemon hold the item.
So it takes up a item, like a held item slot.
Yes.
And then it also just so okay. Interesting. That's that's a little less than, well, I guess you had to make them hold Mega Stones, didn't you, with the Mega Evolutions?
Yeah. The only thing between those is that like Mega Stones, they make the Pokemon stronger by going a step further in their evolution, and they come back to normal. Z moves is a one shot, like one kill shot at basically victory itself, because the move is like over double the damn. Yeah, exactly.
I see. Okay, it's like a last ditch effort, like boom, finish this thing off.
It's a super attack that I believe goes through even like protect and detect and all that stuff too. It may be a little bit like lesser damage if that in the case, but you're going to get your head off anyway.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, and I do understand though that there's there's one for each type, like you were saying, and so you equip them, and then you can use how many can multiple Pokemon in your party have Z moves, and can multiple Pokemon in one battle can multiple Pokemon use Z move? Like can my deck do we use? You just get one for the battle.
You get one for the entire fight.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, that's really interesting. That's a lot. That's a little bit more limiting than all the other gimmicks that we've had since. Before and since, honestly.
Right.
Yeah, Jacob, what do you think about Z moves? What is your opinion on them?
Well, from what I know in VGC, a lot of people didn't really like them very much because one, either they didn't do much or they're literally just a guaranteed kill. So like if you had a Pokemon on the field and you were like, oh, I don't want this one on the field anymore, and I have a type that I can use that can one shot it, you can just do that. So it's like a little bit unnecessary.
Right.
Lovely. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I got from Z moves, and they seem pretty not necessarily forgettable, but very like they don't have as much of an impact on the game and the way that the game is played, and as much as I guess they intended them to.
It's
maybe
just a
originally
gimmick.
designed. Yeah, it was a lot more gimmicky than the gimmicks that we've had since, especially compared to like Megas and Giganta and Terastallization. So
No, yeah.
Right.
yeah, but let's take a pivot here. All right, Gabe, Music Man, what do you think of the music in the game? Have you listened to any of it?
Stop. Stop, dude. Just go in. Dude, I will. Let me tell you, I bet there was a lot of good music. Stop it. You're just boys. You know what? It's tea time, boys. Let me tell you. All right, Quinn told me the first couple of cities had some damn good music. I'm sure there was a lot of tropical, music as well. Hey, man, tropical. Am I right? Love it. I'm sure the music was at least good because Pokemon music is always at least good.
It's true.
It's not like Gears of War, forgettable as hell.
Music never fails, honestly. That's
right.
the one pillar of solace we always have, no matter what the game is.
I would love to listen to what you guys have to say about the music, is what I'm going to say.
There you go.
Like my final thing.
Honestly, if I'm gonna be honest, I think this is one of the few games that I would have to go and dub that this game's music is kind of forgettable. I can't remember straight up a song that I've listened to repeatedly. Like I can name stuff from like X and Y, Gen 5, like the older games, even Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield, but I can't name anything directly out of Sun and Moon besides maybe Ultimate Crossman's theme song. Just because that's the most recent one that's shown up in my head, and that's one I can remember. Beyond that, though, I cannot name a single song. That's, to be honest.
Wow.
So besides the storyline was like really good, and like I like to introduce the regional variants, and then we continue that forward for the rest of the other generations. Music is just to me, I can't remember, to be honest.
Fair. Yeah, I mean the music so far for me has been good. But I'm kind of in the same camp as Fuse, where it's like I'm not sitting here like, oh, I can associate a song with a place. The only song I can really associate with anything is like the opening area, and then like that very first theme, like literally when you open the game, which is really good. I really enjoyed it. It's just like that's the only thing I can like, oh yeah, that's the only song I'm like, oh yeah, I recognize that one. If you played any of the other ones, I'd be like, yeah, I think it's from that area or that thing. What about you, Jacob?
It's funny because when I'm talking about the music from Sun and Moon on stream, I always call it the lo-fi generation because it's always just
yeah,
just kind of like low key.
Yeah, it's just kind of like chill, and I feel like that's the whole point of it, especially since it's Hawaii and vacation-y. I think that's actually one of the problems that Sun and Moon actually can face sometimes, is that it feels more touristy than it should. Because because especially going to Hawaii, I literally, when I went to Hawaii, I was like, I understand that the people who made Sun and Moon, like when Junichi Masuda like literally stepped foot in Hawaii, he was like, I'm just gonna spend one day here, and then and then base the whole game off it, because that's what it felt like. So I could see that in the music sometimes as well.
Wow.
So you know how like, I mean, I can think of Rustboro City, that
Yeah.
Okay, and then that's but that's the same song as that's in Mauville City. I'm trying to think if there are any modern Pokemon games,
That share the
Gen
same
7
songs.
first that share the same songs. Yeah, like I know routes still do sometimes, like in we had that in Scarlet and Violet. We had the same route music in a couple different routes, but was it like that in Gen 7 at all with
No, because because I think they made every town theme different since they were on different islands. I'm pretty sure.
Gotcha.
So none of them really shared the same music from what I remember.
Gotcha. Okay.
There might have been one or two, but I'm not sure.
fair enough. All right, Jacob, we're gonna bring it back to you for this. This is gonna be our last question about this game, and then we'll rate it, and then we're gonna move on to Pokemon, or not the Pokemon, excuse me, the Nintendo Direct that happened this past Wednesday. I think it happened. It was
delicious.
Delicious. So Jacob, tell me about the post game, because obviously I don't know about it, and tell me about the post game of each games, and then whether you think they're worth playing. And was there? I don't think there was DLC for this game, and if there was, tell me about it. Yeah. Anyways, go for it.
The post game. There wasn't really anything. The only thing like I literally remember about the post game is that Looker was there for like a bit, and that's it.
I did run into Looker in my playthrough so far. I found him, which Looker is one of my favorite characters of the Pokemon series, by the way. So I got really excited when I ran into Looker. I was like, oh yeah, this guy exists. Oh shit.
Yeah, I think was it Gen 7? They like dropped some stuff. I think there was like a character that was from Gen 3 that like showed up, and she didn't like she lost her memories and stuff like that in the post game, and that was interesting. They didn't go really into that, and I think they also the one thing I really don't like, because I feel like they should have just made a Pokemon Z instead of just putting Zygarde in Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon, is that one of the side quests is that you have to collect all the Zygarde cells in Alola, which is like kind of post gamey, but it's not at the same time. It's just kind of like a thing on the side.
Is it tedious? Is it like you have to get 100 of them, like, or is it like a manageable amount you have to get?
I think it's similar to Golden Go coins. It's similar to the Gimme Gold coins in a way.
Right. Gotcha. Which that's what you need.
That's a very large number.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, it's like if you have like 30% of the cells that you find, you can transform Zygarde into a dog, and then as soon as you get 50%, you get the thing, and then 100% is the full form.
Oh, interesting. It seems like Sun and Moon and this generation was like it really felt like their big experiment. And how they were going to take Pokemon into like the next step of stuff, because it seems like they experimented with a lot of different aspects of just Pokemon in general, between Z moves, the different forms, the different regional variants. They're like, okay, what do the people like? What do they not like about this? This seems, yeah. They even put gyms up to on the chopping block at this point. It really felt like this game was,
even Slim Jims.
What about you, Fuse? Do you have any opinions on the post game?
Honestly, the only thing I really remember about the post game is the fact that always in UltraSun, UltraMoon, they gave us access to go into these ultra wormholes and find and like shiny hunt the legendaries of all the previous games, which I thought was really cool. Cause it was like a mini game kind of, because you get on top of either oh my god, I know Solgaleo, but what Lunala. You can get on one of those two, and you go through and basically dodge these rings. And the further you go in, the higher your chances is to find like a really special hole. And if you see one that's like sparkling, there's a good chance that there's gonna be a shiny in there. And most of the time, it's a legendary. So you just find that one, reset your game, go back, and just keep going back and forth until you eventually find the shiny that you're looking for. And then there's also.
What were the odds on that, you think?
I think the further you went in, the more odds are. I think it was like 1 in 512.
I think I remember
600 something.
For the regular Pokemon, like the ones that weren't legendaries, I think you could even get them at 1 out of 50.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's insane.
You'd have to go pretty far though, to be honest. So you have to dodge left and right, not to get into the hole that you don't want to. Guys, remember?
No.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, it's probably one of my most favorite parts of the game. I can't tell you how many times I've played that part.
Game experiments with that part.
The other thing was fighting all the Ultra Beasts and stuff, and catching like Buzzwole and all of them and getting them there, and then fighting Guzzlord.
I don't like that. That name's.
He's so funny.
I mean, I love it. It's
Bottomless
awesome.
pit. He's so funny. His shiny's awesome though.
Yeah.
So, but
one last bit. I think Red's in the game. Is that a post game?
Oh yeah.
Right. You fight Red and Blue.
Oh yeah.
Right.
The only thing with that though is that you can only it's so weird because the battle tree is like. I don't know. It's like a worse version of the Battle Frontier, like a very worse version of the Battle Frontier.
Okay.
So, and I think they did that sort of in Sword and Shield as well. But fighting Red and Blue, and I think you can fight Cynthia in the game too. I'm pretty sure at some point. That was cool. At least you could get to see them grown up and stuff.
Oh,
Neat.
they're taking a vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Last thing. Last one. One of my favorite characters in the game. Is it actually Professor Oak, or is it like his cousin?
It's his cousin.
Or some shit?
It's his
Okay. Okay. That's what I thought, but I just showed up. I was like, I was like, what the fuck happened to Professor Oak? Oh
I'm looking
my
this up
God.
right now. I need to see this.
He looks very funny. I was like, oh my God, it just didn't expect to see him here. All right, let's go ahead and give our final review out of 10. 10 being Elden Ring, Zelda, perfect, amazing. 1 being total trash, garbage. Yeah.
Sword and Shield. No, I'm just kidding.
Damn.
I'm kidding.
Metroid Prime.
Yeah. Oh, I'm out of here. We're leaving. Oh yeah. Oh, Spide off.
Spider is trash.
No, he's not. On opposite day.
Argument they have every. I'm so sorry. I'll start us off. I haven't finished it, so I can't give like a complete comprehensive review, but what I've played so far is fun. It's definitely difficult at points. If I was casually played through it, I think it would just get boring to me, to be honest. So I'm gonna drop it at like, just because the pacing of the game is really just painful, like a 6.5, 7, somewhere in that range. Just because it's like, I definitely don't see myself replaying it after I play it now when I'm playing it for stream and stuff. But after that, I don't think it's necessarily like the worst Pokemon game anymore, but it's definitely not the best. So
After this moment, right?
yeah, for sure. Yep, there it is. There it is.
Oh, who is that, Austin? What's going on in that?
Sorry.
Oh my God.
I would ask Gabe to rate it, but I guess he really.
Oh no, I'll rate it. I'll rate it.
Yeah, give
Okay.
it a rating from a third
All right.
party perspective, from an outside looker in.
Spide Ops out of 10. So
There
that's
it
pretty.
is.
That's yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good.
Equivalent to like an 8.5.
Yeah.
20 out of 10.
Fuse.
So question, can I do like a rating between like Sun and UltraSun, and like, or is that like just like all
that's fine.
together? Okay.
Yeah.
So Sun's storyline and stuff, not without the additions of UltraSun, I think solidly I'd give it like a 7.5. Just because it made more sense to me. The sad story of Lily leaving is cool. And then UltraSun and UltraMoon added a bunch of stuff like the Ultra wormholes and finding all that stuff too, which is also cool. But I feel like they like tinkered with something and did like light changes. Basically, it was basically the same game over and over. It wasn't like a massive difference between like Black and Black 2 and like Diamond and Pearl and Platinum. It wasn't really much of a game changing thing. Then we had like a feature which honestly they probably could have just slapped on like a mini DLC right then and it would have been just fine to have. So honestly, I'd probably give UltraSun and UltraMoon like a 6.5, and then I give like regular Sun and Moon just 7.5 because I just like that. Just generally, just the game, the story was good. Starting the like getting to the points where you want to go was a little bit more tedious than it needs to be, especially for like 2 hours. It's like it's one of the things like I'm a Nuzlocker. I like to Nuzlock games. I don't want to touch Sun and Moon because I know if I wipe, I'm gonna have to reset and play another 2 hours of this.
Yeah, just all over again.
That's
Just
literally why when I wiped to Lima or whatever, I didn't like actually hard reset because I was like, I'm not. Yeah, Ligma. That's what I call it. That's
what's
what I call it.
Ligma?
I was like, I'm literally just gonna
Ligma
play
balls.
the same shit. I'm gonna get the same encounters. It's
Yeah,
not worth it. So I just said, okay, I'm just gonna restart. But this is like the point of before this fight is like my reset, and that's just what's gonna be for the whole game.
If I did actually do one like as a Nuzlocke, and if I wiped early on, I'd just be like, I just changed the number on my attempt counter to 2 and be like, oh damn guys, we're back.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Wow. But
Exactly.
I'd give Sun and Moon like 7.5, and then UltraMoon about 6.5.
Fair enough. All right, Jacob, give us some magic. Give us some magic rating.
I think as the Generation 7 all overall, I think I would give it like a 7.5. I think the whole of the whole thing, at least combining Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon together. If I had to take Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon apart, I think I would give Sun and Moon like a 7.7, and then like Ultra Sun and Moon like just a solid 7. But like combined, I would put them like 7.5.
Yeah, and I think that's a good sentiment overall. It's like this generation, it passes, but it's definitely one of the weaker generations overall. Sadly,
I think the
yeah.
best heavy hitter that this generation brought us is the introduction to regional variants.
Yeah,
And that
Right,
they carried
yeah.
that through the rest of the games as well, which I thought was very cool. So
Is it?
Yeah, I very much enjoy the regional variants, and I enjoy regional variants through Galarian and now Scarlet and Violet as well. But yeah, Gabe, what do you say?
Annihilate
Is
the
it-
best.
Spot ups.
Spots.
Shut up!
Spot ups.
Shut the
Okay.
fuck up!
I love you,
Spot
Jacob.
up!
Help me, Jacob.
Gabe, go.
No, yeah.
Oh, you're gonna stop it there? Okay, but okay. Isn't it Sun and Moon has better story, and then UltraMoon has better gameplay? I feel like I've heard that before, or is it vice versa, or something like that?
That's what I'm hearing.
I would say that.
Yeah. Okay,
Fair enough.
gotcha.
All right.
Yeah, cool.
Well,
cool.
that concludes our portion of the podcast on Pokemon UltraSun and UltraMoon. Yeah, UltraSun, UltraMoon, and also Sun and Moon. We will now spend the next like 20 minutes talking about the Nintendo Direct that happened on February. What was past Wednesday? February 8th.
8th.
2023. So, you know, for the time stamp this podcast, right?
2023, man.
This Direct, I'm going to lead off strong here. This Direct was a banger. This is a banger. And I don't know if it's because my expectations kept getting lower and lower as the Directs kept happening throughout last year, through 2022. But holy crap, they had 2 shadow drops. They lead with Pikmin, do 2 shadow drops, drop a couple of some other spicy gems or sprinkle it in there, and then they end with the Zelda. Like that, you can't beat it, man. You can't beat it. Let's just break down each game, honestly. So I have a couple. I just have like a list of like the major hitters. Let's talk about Pikmin 4. Do you guys play Pikmin at all? Anybody in this chat play Pikmin? If you haven't, that's okay. We can just gloss over and move on to I'll say my piece and we can move to the next thing.
I played the first Pikmin, and
Okay.
I got very confused as to how to honestly continue to play the game. Because I ran into this like giant I want to say like dog plant thing that ate all my guys, and then I had no guys left, and I was like, oh well, this is terrible, and now I'm just incredibly sad. I'm like, where did they go? They're my buddies.
You really do command. It's not like Pokemon, you know. It's you really command an army.
I may be able to understand better if I play like a more recent game of it and give it another chance. But like,
if you want to get back into it, I recommend playing Pikmin 3. Pikmin 2 is entirely too long for the casual Pikmin player. Pikmin 1's really good. If you play Pikmin 3, you'll understand the mechanics of it a lot better, and then you could go back and visit Pikmin 1. But if you're trying to like just a brand new person entry into the series, Pikmin 3 is where it's at. It's a good balance of like you get new mechanics, but then there's a lot of post game if you want to do the post game, and it's a lot more forgiving than Pikmin 1. Pikmin 1 is just very difficult.
It's just like, oh my god, like 50 guys there, man.
Munch.
I was like, guys, you outnumber him. Beat him up. What's happening?
So the trailer in Pikmin 4 dropped. They showed off a few features. They have obviously a new cast of characters. They even include some of the characters include some people of color, which is really awesome and really good representation. We also have some there's a Pikmin dog now that like can swim you across water and all that. And another new addition seems to be they're introducing an ice Pikmin. He's basically seems to be like the rock Pikmin, but in ice form, and you can like freeze water and stuff like that. Last thing, they kind of hinted at dungeons and the dungeons coming back, and also they hinted at the return of, or not return, a new mechanic of actually going at night. If you didn't know, Pikmin and
Pokemon
like,
can't do anything at night.
Yeah, you can't play Pikmin games at night. Like that's like, or when you play Pikmin, you always have to leave the planet at night, and then you stay in orbit, and then you come back down at the start of the day, and it's like a timed day-night cycle where you only have the day to do stuff and accomplish tasks, and then you go back to the surface. So that's all the new stuff that they seem to be adding in Pikmin 4. If anybody has any other like quippets about that, I can just go ahead and move on to the next thing. Anybody else have any comments?
The only thing
I'm. Oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead, Jacob.
Oh no, you're good. I was gonna say like I've never played Pikmin before really. I've only known Olimar from Smash Bros and stuff.
Yeah.
Olimar, yeah.
But it looks fun. It looks fun, and I like the water and the graphics the upgraded graphics it has too, and it looks really nice.
Yeah. Again, I guess my suggestion would be to you. Again, they remade 3 for the Switch. If you can, grab a copy of that. If it's on discount, or, like usually at Target, they're all like $20 off or something like that. So it's definitely worth that much. Yeah, definitely worth it. Gabe, what are you gonna say?
Kind of along the same lines as Jacob. I actually never played them myself. I've seen what they look like, the nice juicy colors, the cute, kind of puzzly game looking stuff. But even though I'm not super interested in 4, maybe I'll still get it. I'm happy for Pikmin fans because I feel like they're kind of in the same boat as maybe not as deep in the water as Star Fox fans, but I feel like Pikmin fans I've been hearing. When's the next pick? They want to, and here we go. They get it. So I'm happy for them. At least to get that.
Yeah, for sure. Next big thing headline was they announced some Splatoon DLC. I'm not a splatter myself. I know a lot of people are. It looks really cool. They're bringing back some features from the other game, from the older games, from like the Splatoon 1, and you can do all the cool features from that World Hub. And like I don't know if you guys know this, Splatoon is like the hottest shit in Japan. They love Splatoon in Japan. Like, do you guys know what like the virtual concerts where they are like where they basically have like anime characters like holograms and then they have concerts with the holograms? They do that with the Splatoon like main people. Yeah, the Inkling characters that like sing and shit. So they brought back the 2 main Inkling girls for this DLC, which is pretty cool. And then the second wave of the DLC is this like really weird, abstract, colorless world, and we don't really know a lot about it at the moment, but they tease that during this direct. Yeah, any thoughts? If it's okay if you don't have thoughts, but if you have any thoughts, let me know.
I played Splatoon 2.
What's that, Gabe?
I played Splatoon 2. I played Splatoon 2 a bit. I never got Splatoon 3 or Splatoon 1. It was so weird that I started with the second one. But but I like the competitive nature of it.
Okay. Yeah.
I also got 2, never got 1 on the Wii U. I swear I did the same thing for 2 and 3. I got 2, played it for a couple of weeks, had a lot of fun, and then I feel like, I don't know if there was skill-based matchmaking in 2, but like it was like practically every match I would play after a couple of weeks, I would just get like destroyed on, and it literally like. It was just not fun anymore because of that, man. I was like, okay, this is just too much, and I ended up getting rid of it. I kind of knew I would, not keep it forever. Kind of same thing with 3. I was having, a fun time with it. I wasn't a big fan of how you could only play 2 maps for like 2 hours or an hour or something. It was like map rotate, and I'm like, and then I felt like there weren't a lot of maps in the game either. Kind of a modern day, like, oh, we'll slowly roll out, DLC and stuff. All right, I'm like, nah, lazy, but yeah, so.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Okay. Well, let's move on to this is
Fashion Dreamer.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Dude, we get to work at JCPenney.
Yes.
No, Spide Ops.
I saw Smarpy retweet something that said, "Hey, bro, could I copy your homework?" And it was like the fashion from Animal Crossing and like the fashion from Fashion Dreamer in this direct side by side. That was really funny. No, the big one of the 2 big shadow drops that they did was the Nintendo Online Game Boy and Game Boy Advanced. So that came out literally the day or that afternoon. Some big hitters. They had the Windfish, or what is it? Link's Awakening.
Link's Awakening.
Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. They had some Mario 2, the 6 gold coins. They had Wario World. They added what else? There's
Alone in the Dark.
Yeah,
that's pretty scary.
Tetris. You can play Tetris. You can play Tetris online with friends too, which is pretty cool. And then I think there's a 6 game that I don't remember off the top of my head. It's pretty obscure. And then on the Game Boy Advance side, they added the best 2D Mario game that's ever existed, Mario Advance 4, Mario Bros. 3. I know, it's a really weird title, but not the best title. It's just the best game. One of the best 2D Mario games out there. I'd really recommend to play it if you have not played it. I literally grew up on this game, so I'm a little nostalgia pilled from it. But They have a lot of cool features that it's in it. It also looks beautiful, especially if you're playing on an OLED Switch. They also added some other stuff like Legend of Zelda Minish Cap, which I've never played and I've heard only
Great game.
amazing things about. So I'm excited to try that out.
You will love it.
They added a Metroid game, I believe. Oh, that was the other. That was the other Game Boy game as well. Then they added some other Metroid games in the Game Boy Advance version as well. If I'm forgetting some titles, let me know. What are you guys most excited about from that drop?
Honestly, I was a big fan of playing the Pokemon trading card game, which is coming out soon on that. So I'm super excited to play that again.
Yeah, that one wasn't dropped that day. That's one that's like coming.
That's coming soon. Hopefully, though. Honestly, knowing Nintendo, they're not going to give us the emulators for like yellow, red, blue, and stuff, are they?
I hope in Pokemon Day. I'm hoping Pokemon Day is when they say something like that. Really hoping.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
please,
just give us Emerald on the Advance. I would be perfect. Like give us Fire Red, Leaf Green, and Emerald, and I would be ecstatic. I would be ecstatic. That would be so great.
Dude, they have to. They have to give us red, blue, yellow, emerald, ruby, sapphire. Like,
right.
Oh my God, dude, I have hair. I cannot get this hair out of my. Okay. it's dude. It will not. I'm like over here, like grabbing my tongue, like trying not to, like be too noticeable. And it's like
at the mouth for Game Boy Advance.
Give me up. Oh, Oracle. Listen, I'm gonna. You know what? Whatever. They have to, man. Like I know. Okay, now, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't though, because Nintendo just big missed opportunities so much, man. And it's just so funny and annoying and just stupid, because it's like, bro, you guys are missing out on possible upgraded subscriptions if they don't add red, blue, yellow, emerald. I think they're adding Oracle of Ages and Seasons. I'm pretty sure on the Game Boy
that
Color.
Was on there. That was on
hell yeah. I hope that's maybe a little like nudge about like those potentially being remade at some point in the next few years. That'd be cool. But yeah, dude, I mean, like I was talking to Quinn today and I was like, oh, cool, I'll play, Link's Awakening for a few, just because like I love the, these little 8-bit sounds or whatever, or 16 or whatever it is. I don't know. So they have to, man. There's no way. They released them on the 3DS. Remember, it was like $5 for blue or whatever.
I remember that.
So
yeah. I'm hoping.
Okay, well, let's move on to the next. We got like 3 more big titles or big things that we kind of go through. So, or 4 more, excuse me. So, Kirby's Return to Dreamland, they're remaking that from the Wii, and they're also adding a new epilogue chapter to it. I've never played Return to Dreamland. I just recently bought it, actually. It's, I think, right here. I'll be right here. So, I bought this. I was going to play it on the Wii, but I guess now I'll wait for it to come out on Switch. But I have an original copy now, and I like to collect this, especially Wii era game.
Era. They're cute.
So I got this. I'm excited for that to come out. It comes with a new DLC for it. And before I move on, any Return to Dreamlander opinions, or are we just chilling? Go ahead.
Awesome game. Probably one of my like top 3 Kirby games, I'd say.
Okay. Nice.
Really, just it's an honest, fun game. That's I don't know what else to say besides just fun. Hell yeah.
I'm very excited to give it a try. So, because I've heard nothing but great things about it. All right, big one. Here it is, Gabe. You ready? Metroid Prime. It's fucking greened out.
I am ready. Even though you can't see it, I could totally like make the green screen go bye-bye. Dude. I have her. But oh my dude, Metroid Prime remastered. And it's not just that cheap like, oh, HD touch up. It's an actual it's
Remastered.
it's
He's gonna go on for an hour. Keep going, Gabe.
I can't. You know what?
Let it loose.
So. The visuals are really good. The music. They obviously it's not like it was the music was remade and edited and re-recorded and all that. It's it's just and it's good. That's it sounds great. Gorgeous. Love Fandriana Drift's music. Love Chozo Ruins. Talon Overworld. The game runs at a smooth 60 FPS from what I'm seeing. I have not ever noticed any frame drops in it. Shame on Game Freak for Scarlet
take some
and Violet.
Fucking notes is all I'm gonna say.
I understand Scarlet and Violet are open world and stuff's rendering a lot more, but like, I mean, hey man, that's where it sounds like you got to work a little bit more. I mean, like, I don't know what else to say, man. Like in retro,
like Metroid's kind of trash.
I know, man. Spider-Ops is better than
garbage. It's garbage.
So yeah, they dropped. For anyone who doesn't know, they dropped Metroid Prime Remastered. Metroid Prime originally came out on the GameCube a hot minute ago. I don't know the exact date. It's a fantastic game. I played through it, and it's just the first one. It's a series. But
sorry,
they
I said
dropped
2001.
And 2001. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. Sorry.
It's a great game series, and they remastered it to a point where like the visuals actually, it's not, like Gabe's saying, it's not just like a visual touch up. It's like they like genuinely have like new assets in the game. They've added like a lot of new features, and then like they've gone to the point where like some of the details are kind of insane. I think one I've seen a lot on Twitter is like when you're first on the world, it's like raining, and if you can see the rain droplets like hit your arm, and if you look up, the rain droplets literally roll back on your arm, and like they roll down your visor in the proper way, and then same if you look down, and just like these crazy details that they've put into this game that you can tell that they've worked really hard, and it's definitely this rework, because I don't know if anybody knows this. They basically, the day that they announced Metroid Prime 4, they basically completely overhauled Retro Studios. Nintendo did, I believe. And because I've seen nothing but job postings on Nintendo's website for Retro Studios, and like trying to get a whole new staff and working on this. So Retro Studios is really killing it. And if this is what we're going to get out of Metroid Prime 4, I'm very excited. I think it's going to be a fantastic game and a huge Game of the Year contender. Not Metroid Prime, but Metroid Prime 4, whenever that does.
So excited for Prime 4. I think if they can do, if they could do the whole trilogy, in this remastered format, I think it'd be awesome. Like, and I'm curious, if this is them kind of like silently telling us, hey, take this while you're still patiently waiting for Prime 4.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it's a fun game. At first I was like, I wonder if it's gonna hold up, and I'm like, oh, of course it does. I still play it every now and then, like on my Wii U. It holds up. Yeah, it's a fun game. If somebody's never played Metroid before, I think this is a good,
Honestly, it was ahead of its time when it came out, really, because I think the only other competitor to a similar style game was like Halo. But Halo became more of a phenomenon for its multiplayer than it did like its
couch co-op.
All right, so that's Metroid Prime. I'll drop this in there just because I have a friend who's really big into these games. Professor Layton, we got a Professor Layton teaser, a really good puzzle, adventure, story, point-and-click adventure game. Check those out if you have the ability to. And then lastly, of course, we have Tears of the Kingdom. We didn't really get a lot of new news in terms of like dates and stuff like that, but we got a lot of news in terms of like the content and like what's happening in the game. Jacob, I heard you say something. Go for it.
I just can't wait for that game.
Yeah,
I have so many theories running in my head, especially as a writer, and everything. Like, I'm so excited. I'm interested to see if they, like, I know a lot of fans were wanting to like have a playable Zelda. I'm wondering if we might get that in the beginning of the game, maybe like a flip swap type of thing. I'm wondering how it's going to be structured as well, because obviously I feel like very strongly that we're going to be starting in that cave with Ganon at the beginning of the game. I'm wondering how it's going to go from there, and Zelda's dialogue about we can't beat him this time type of thing makes me just wonder like how like we're gonna fight Ganon too. Like, is he gonna be like just the man this time? I feel like he's just gonna be the man this time type of thing.
The Gerudo boy.
Yeah. If that voice at the beginning of the trailer is
Ganondorf,
then I think Matt Mercer, because I think that's Matt Mercer's voice. Matt Mercer is Ganon, which is a crazy sentence to say. As again, I have to assume, right? But yeah, I kind of do hope we get like the Ganon, the one singular dude, the really, because like fighting the Abomination in the first game was really fun, but just there's something about that like the classic just duel with Ganon.
It feels more personal.
It feels so personal. It feels so, it carries so much weight. All that, Anyways, so I'm very excited. Another cool aspect of the game that a lot of people noticed in this trailer was that there's a lot of these like. So there's a game out there called Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, and so there's a lot of these aspects of that game where you like put together stuff and make these like vehicles, like a drone and like little go-karts and stuff. That's something that people have noticed that in the trailer. There's a lot of that going on, and so there's a lot of people on Twitter saying like, "Oh, Nuts and Bolts is a good game," and it's like, well, I wouldn't go that far, but they
have it's a little mechanic, Yes, I see the comparison, but obviously Tears of the Kingdom is way bigger than.
Yeah, I think it's just more of a mechanic to improve mobility, because I think that was, if I had to say there was a problem with Breath of the Wild 1 was like to get long distances very quickly, other than like fast traveling. It wasn't very intuitive. Like the only thing you could do to really get long distances without fast traveling was to glide. And
horses,
even
but
then
horses
you
are...
had to climb up somewhere high and then glide all the way, and then stamina, and then until you get Rivali's Gale. So I think this will be a way to be able to do like long distance traversal to medium distance traversal without having to use the glider all the time. But it seems like they've kept everything from the first game, and they're only adding on top of that. So that just makes you really more excited, honestly. And the game looks beautiful as always, and yeah. So.
Fingers crossed it runs smooth. I'm confident it's going to run smoothly. I mean they spent more time on this game than they did Breath of the Wild, technically. So
and they've delayed it several times at this point. So I have nothing but confidence in. Like, I don't think there's been a bad performance Zelda, like in terms of like the game doesn't run. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I don't think that's ever happened. So I'm not worried about that in that aspect. I think Nintendo internal is like usually a lot better about like how their games perform and how they do that. They don't chunk out crap. Anything else? Any other comments on just the Direct as a whole? Also, do we have any theories about what's coming like after the summertime? Because we only got up to the summertime worth of content from this Direct.
Right. I think maybe within the next couple of Directs we'll get Metroid Prime 4 something. You know, whether it can be a complete like. I don't want to say reveal because it's already been revealed, but I mean it was literally just a JPEG we got, obviously, or whatever you want to call that. I feel like we'll get a little like teaser cinematic of Metroid Prime 4 within the next couple, you know. So by maybe January of next year, I would be, you know, pretty surprised if we didn't have something from Prime 4, you know.
True, I agree with that. Fuse.
Honestly, you know what I would love to see within like maybe this year, maybe like next year, I'd love another Star Fox game. I don't know if anyone plays Star Fox.
That's definitely a series they need to bring back.
But besides that, I do think on Pokemon Day we're gonna get something about the DLC for Scarlet and Violet. So that's what I'm mostly hopeful about.
When is Pokemon Day?
It's the 20
something.
20 something. I think
Of this month?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, look good.
Well, that'll be the next episode.
Maybe there'll be some patches too to help the game run.
It's the 27th. 27th.
Ooh.
Okay, that'll be 2 episodes from now.
That's Valentine's Day, guys.
Oh boy.
Happy Valentine's Day.
I love you all.
I feel like we're gonna get another Animal Crossing something in the next year, because I feel like a lot of people like New Horizons a lot.
Yeah.
And it's already been 3 years since the last one.
Right,
So
and they're still, I don't think they're really supporting it anymore with DLC, right? Like I mean, maybe we're, that's a good thought. And I mean, bro, with how much it blew up, you have, a lot of like, you get the Switch just for Animal Crossing, people who you wouldn't even say are gamers. I'm doing the quote unquote thing, guys.
There it is. He's doing it.
There it is.
He does this
it
every episode.
I only did it like once this time.
That's true. That's true.
Little bunnies hopping across the screen. Jacob, they're gonna come get you. It's Lopunny. Where's Lopunny?
No, not Lopunny.
Lopunny.
Not Little Funny.
Where's Yami at? Yami would love this.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, man.
That episode with Yami had so many just innuendos.
Oh,
Anyways, my crackpot. Okay, so let's start my reasonable theories. My reasonable theories is that in the next like year or so, obviously Metroid Prime 4, I think we get DLC for Scarlet and Violet. I don't think that's going to be a Nintendo Direct. That'll be obviously like Pokemon Day, right? I think we get DLC for Pokemon as well. I don't know. Star Fox I would love to see again, but I think that would be a big like out of the nowhere surprise. I think we get added. I think maybe a GameCube emulator. Hopefully, fingers crossed, could be possibly added. But my big crackpot theory is I think this is the last year for the Switch, or at least for this like line of Switches. And I think that we're gonna get something, not necessarily completely new hardware, but something similar to like the new 3DS, where we have like a Switch Pro. Like I know we've been saying that for the past like 3 years, right? Of like, oh, we're gonna do a Switch Pro. I think we're at that point now where it's like, because again, we still have no idea what's coming past like the summer, really.
Right.
So I think it's going to be this hardware that's going to be up to date, new. It's gonna run things better. I don't know if it'll be 4K and all that jazz, but I think it'll just be a better Switch with better hardware, and it's gonna give us a lot of more options in terms of games. It'll be similar to the new 3DS, where only like certain games can run on it. So yeah, that's kind of my big theory moving forward, like what's gonna happen with Nintendo. And
We also haven't got another 3D Mario actually too.
that's very true. We have not gotten a 3D Mario, and I could see a new one of those. That's another one I could see.
Especially after the movie.
Oh my god, the movie.
I saw someone say that they're gonna do Mario movie the game, which would be hilarious. Just hearing Chris Pratt just be like, "Oh,
where's the next
Mamma
Super
Mia."
Mario Sunshine, man?
Super Mario Sunshine 2.
Come on, bring Mario Sunshine back. No, I'm just
I love it so much.
All
It's
right,
such a good
well,
game.
I think that wraps up the podcast. Jacob, where can we find you on the internet?
So, so I am on Twitter at Jacob_Pong. Everywhere else I'm Jacob Pomegranate. I think on Instagram it's just Jacob the Pomegranate or the Jacob Pomegranate. So it's just Jacob Pomegranate pretty much everywhere.
Cool. Sounds good. Well, thank you so much for being on our podcast. It really means the world. You're a busy man,
It was
so
fun.
we're happy to have you. And if we get you again sometime in the future, our next series, by the way, is going to be on the Zelda series. So I'm sure we'll pull you in at some point.
I'd love
for
that.
that. Yeah. All right, boys. Any last nickels? Any last remarks?
I love you. Happy Valentine's Day. I love you guys.
Shut up. You're the only
Ah!
I haven't found a bowl big enough yet. I'm still looking for that. Please, someone tell me. DM me where's the bowls.
Tomato.
Shut up.
Tomato.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching the Boost of You podcast. Please like, subscribe, follow us, leave a review on Apple Podcasts or review us on Spotify. It would really mean the world. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye. See you.
I love you, views.